Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. We've been reading from chapter 3 of the Madhya Lila, and we shall begin our reading from verse number 70. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Caitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. प्रभु कहे सन्यासीरा भक्ष्य नहे उपकारना इहा खाइले कैचे हया indriya varana. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "It is not proper for a sannyasi to eat such a variety of foods. If he does, how can he control his senses?" Purport: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the compiler of Caitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. The word upkarana indicates a variety of food such as dal, vegetables and other varieties of possible dishes that one can eat very nicely with rice. It is not proper, however, for a sannyasi to eat such palatable dishes. If he does so, or if he did so, he would not be able to control his senses. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not encourage sannyasis to eat very palatable dishes, for the whole Vaishnava cult is Vairagya Vidya, as renounced as possible. Caitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Raghunath Das Goswami not to eat very palatable dishes, wear very nice garments or talk on mundane subjects. These things are all prohibited for those in the renounced order. A devotee does not accept anything to eat that is not first offered to Krishna. All the rich foods offered to Krishna are given to the grihasthas, the householders. There are many nice things offered to Krishna: garlands, bedsteads, nice ornaments, nice food, and even nicely prepared pan, betel nuts. But humble Vaishnav, thinking his body material and nasty, does not accept such preparations for himself. He thinks that by accepting such things, he will offend the lotus feet of the Lord. Those who are Sahajiyas cannot understand what Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu meant when he asked Advaita Ācārya to bring 2 separate leaves and give a small quantity of prasadam to him. Verse number 71. Ācārya kahe chhada tumi apnara churi ami sab jani tomar sannyasera bhari bhuri. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept the food that had already been served, Advaita Ācārya said, "Please give up your concealment. I know what you are, and I know the confidential meaning of your accepting the sannyas order." Verse number 72. Bhojan karah chhada vachan chaturi prabhu kahe eta anna khaite na pari. Advaita Ācārya thus requested Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to eat and give up juggling words. The Lord replied, "I certainly cannot eat so much food." Verse number 73. Ācārya bale akapate karah ahar yadi khaite na par pate rahi beka ar. Advaita Ācārya then requested the Lord to simply accept the prasadam without pretense. If he could not eat it all, the balance could be left on the plate. Verse number 74. Prabhu bale eta anna nariba khaite na sannyasira dharma nahe uchishta rakhite. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I will not be able to eat so much food, and it is not the duty of a sannyasi to leave remnants." So that's why I think we see when we offer food to the sannyasis, many of them, they don't leave any remnants on the plate. They will make sure that everything is eaten up, or they will take only small quantities to begin with. Purport: according to Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 18, verse 19, Bahir jalashayam gatva tato prishya vagvatah vibhajya pavitam shesham bhunjita shesham aritam. Whatever edibles a sannyasi gets from a householder house, he should take outside near some lake or river and offer And after offering the food to Vishnu, Brahma and the sun, that is the three divisions, he should eat the entire offering and not leave anything for others to eat. Verse number 75. Ācārya bale nilachale khao choyanna bara ek bare anna khao shata shata bhara. In this connection, Advaita Ācārya referred to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu's eating at Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu are identical. Advaita Ācārya pointed out at Jagannath Puri, Caitanya Mahāprabhu ate 54 times a day, and each time he ate many hundreds of pots of food. Verse number 76. तीन जनार भक्ष्य पिंड तुमार एका ग्रास तारा लेखाया ए अन्न नहे पंच ग्रास. Advaita Ācārya said, the amount of food that 3 people can eat does not constitute even a morsel for you. In proportion to that, these edibles are not even 5 morsels of food for you. Verse number 77. Mora bhagye mora ghare tumar agamana Chadaha Chaturi Prabhu Karaha Bhojana. Advaita Ācārya continued, by my great fortune, my dear Lord, you have just come to my house, my home. Please do not juggle words, just begin eating and do not talk. Verse number 78. Eta bali jaladila dui gosanir hate hasiya lagila dunhe bhojan karite. Upon saying this, Advaita Ācārya supplied water to the 2 lords so that they could wash their hands. The 2 lords then sat down and smiling began to eat the prasadam. So we can just imagine how blissful the whole scenario and the immediate surroundings would be at that time at Advaita Ācārya's house. Verse 79. Nityananda kahe Kailun tina upavas aji paran karite chila bada asha. Nityananda Prabhu said, I have undergone fasting for 3 days continuously. Today I had hoped to break my fast. So how auspicious it is. Verse number 80. Aji upavas haila Ācārya nimantrane ardha peta na bharibe ei graseka anne. Although Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was thinking that the quantity of food was enormous, Nityananda Prabhu on the contrary thought it not even a morsel. He had been fasting for 3 days and had greatly hoped to break fast on that day. Indeed, he said, although I am invited to eat by Advaita Ācārya, today also is a fast, so a small quantity food will not fill even half my belly. Verse 81. Ācārya kahe tumi hao Terthika sannyasi kabhu phala moola khao kabhu upavasi. Advaita Ācārya replied, Sir, you are a mendicant traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots, and sometimes you simply go on fasting. Verse 82. Daridra Brahman ghare ye paila mushti ek anna ihate santusht hao chad lobha mana. I'm a poor Brahman and you have come to my home. Please be satisfied with whatever little food you have received and give up your greedy mentality. So Advaita Ācārya is gently rebuking Nityananda, and Gauranga Mahāprabhu, he doesn't want lot on the plate. He just wants a little bit. He doesn't want to leave any remnants. And Advaita Ācārya has been reminding Mahāprabhu that we know you are none other than Jagannath, and Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri eats 54 times a day in massive pots each time. Verse number 83. Nityananda bole yabe kaile nimantrana tate dite kaha yata kariye bhojana. Lord Nityananda Prabhu replied, whatever I may be, you have invited me, therefore you must supply as much as I want to eat. So there is contradiction. Lord Nityananda is asking for enormous amounts of food to open his fast after 3 days, and Mahāprabhu is saying on the other side that he wants only a little on the plate. Verse number 84. Shuni Nityanandera Katha Thakur Advaita Kahena Tanhare Kichu Paiya Pirita. His Divine Grace Advaita Ācārya, after hearing the statement of Nityananda Prabhu, took the opportunity presented by the joking words and spoke to him as follows. Verse 85. Bhrashta avadhuta tumi udar bharite sannyas la yacha bujhi brahmana dandite. Advaita Ācārya said, you are a reject Paramhans and you have accepted the renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand that your business is to give trouble to the Brahmanas. Purport. There is always a difference of opinion between a Smartha Brahman and Vaishnav Goswami. There are even Smartha opinions and Vaishnav Goswami opinions available in astrological and astronomical calculations. By calling Nityananda Prabhu a Bhrashta Avadhut, a rejected Paramhansa, Advaita Ācārya Prabhu in a sense accepted Nityananda Prabhu as a Paramhans. In other words, Nityananda Prabhu had nothing to do with the rules governing Smartha Brahmans. Thus, under pretense of condemning him, Advaita Ācārya was actually praising him. In the Avadhuta stage, the Paramhansa stage, which is the supermost stage, one may appear to be a Vishayi on the platform of sense gratification, but in actuality, he has nothing to do with sense gratification. At that stage, a person sometimes accepts the symbols and dress of a sannyasi and sometimes does not. Sometimes he dresses like a householder. We should know, however, that these are all joking words between Advaita Ācārya and Nityananda Prabhu. They are not to be taken as insults. In Khada Dahas, sometimes people misunderstood Nityananda Prabhu to belong to the Shakta Sampradaya, whose philosophy is Antah Shaktah Bahih Shaivah Sabhayam Vaishnavo Matah. According to the Shakta Sampradaya, a person called Kola Vadhuta thinks materially while externally appearing to be a great devotee of Lord Shiva. When such a person is in an assembly of Vaishnavas, he appears like a Vaishnav. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu did not belong to such a community. Nityananda Prabhu was always a brahmachari of a sannyasi of the Vedika order. Actually, he was a Paramhans. Sometimes he is accepted to be a disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha. If he is so accepted, Nityananda Prabhu belonged to the Madhva Sampradaya. He did not belong to the Tantric Sampradaya of Bengal. Verse 86. Tumi khete par dasha visha manera anna ami taha kanhat pabab daridra brahmana. Advaita Ācārya accused Nityananda Prabhu saying, you can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice, which is I think equivalent of mana like they say in Punjabi. I am a poor Brahman, how shall I get so much rice? Purport, a mana is a measurement containing about 40 kilos. Verse 87. Ye pancha mushti ek anna taha khana utha pagalami na kariha na chadiyo jhutha. Whatever you have, though it be a palmful of rice, please eat it up and get up. Don't show your madness and strew the remnants of food here and there. Verse number 88. Eimata hasya rase karena bhojana ardha khana prabhu chadena vyanjana. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu ate and talked with Advaita Ācārya jokingly. After eating half of each vegetable preparation given to him, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu abandoned it and went on to the next. Verse number 89. Say Vyanjana Ācārya punah karena puran ei mata punah parivesha Vyanjana. As soon as half of the vegetables in the pot was finished, Advaita Ācārya filled it up again. In this way, as the Lord finished half of a preparation, Advaita Ācārya again and again filled it up. Moving on to verse number 90. Dona Vyanjane bhari karena prarthana prabhu balena ar kata keta kariba bhojana. After filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita Ācārya requested them to eat more, and Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, how much more can I go on eating? And look, this is Lord Jagannath himself refusing to eat. Verse number 91. Ācārya kahe ye diyachi taha na chadiba ekhana ye diye tar ardheka khaiba. Advaita Ācārya said, please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now whatever I am giving, you may eat half and leave half. Verse number 92. Nana yatna denye prabhure karaila bhojana Ācāryera ichha prabhu karila purana. In this way, by submitting various humble requests, Advaita Ācārya made Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Lord Nityananda eat. Thus Chaitanya Mahāprabhu fulfilled all the desires of Advaita Ācārya. Verse number 93. Nityananda kahe amara peta na bharila lena yaha tora anna kichu na khaila. Again Nityananda Prabhu jokingly said, my belly is not yet filled up. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it. Verse number 94. Eta bali eka grasa bhat hate lena ujhali phelila age yena krudha hena. After saying that, Nityananda Prabhu took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him as if he was angry. Verse number 95. Bhat dui chari lage Ācāryera ange bhat ange lena Ācārya nache bahurange. When 2 or 4 pieces of the thrown rice touched his body, Advaita Ācārya began to dance in various ways with the rice still stuck to his body. Verse 96. Avdu tera jhutha lagila mora ange param pavitra mora kaila ei dhange. When the rice thrown by Nityananda Prabhu touched his body, Advaita Ācārya thought himself purified by the touch of remnants thrown by Paramhansa Nityananda. Therefore, he began dancing. Purport: the word Avadhuta refers to one above all rules and regulations. Sometimes, not observing all the rules and regulations of a sannyasi, Nityananda Prabhu exhibited the behavior of a mad Avadhuta. He threw the remnants of food on the ground, and some of these remnants touched the body of Advaita Ācārya. Advaita Ācārya accepted this happily because he presented himself as a member of the community of Smartha Brahmins. By touching the remnants of food thrown by Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Ācārya immediately felt himself purified of all Smartha contamination. The remnants of food left by pure Vaishnavas are called Maha Prasadam. This is completely spiritual and is identified with the Lord Vishnu. Such remnants are not ordinary. The spiritual master is to be considered on the stage of Paramhans and beyond the jurisdiction of the Varnashram institution. The remnants of food left by the spiritual master and similar Paramhansas or pure Vaishnavas are purifying. Even an ordinary person touches such prasadam, his mind is purified and his mind is raised to the status of a pure Brahman. The behavior and statements of Advaita Ācārya are meant for the understanding of ordinary people who are unaware of the strength of spiritual values, not knowing the potency of food left by the bona fide spiritual master and pure Vaishnavas. Moving on to verse 97. Tore nimantrana kari painu tar phala tor jati kula nahi sahaje pagala. Advaita Ācārya jokingly said, my dear Nityananda, I invited you and indeed I have received the results. You have no fixed caste or dynasty. By nature you are a madman. Purport: the word sahaje pagala, by nature of madman, indicate that Nityananda Prabhu was transcendently situated on the Paramhans stage. Because he always remembered Radha Krishna and the service, he was transcendent. This was transcendental madness. Sri Advaita Ācārya was pointing out this fact. Verse 98. Apnara sama mora karibar tare jhutha dile vipra bali bhaya. Is it abhaya na karile? Or it is bhaya. Bhaya na karile. To make me a madman like yourself, you have thrown the remnants of your food at me. You did not even fear the fact that I am a Brahman. Purport: the words Apnar Sama indicate that Advaita Ācārya considered himself to belong to the Smartha Brahmins, and he considered Nityananda Prabhu to be on the transcendental stage with pure Vaishnavas. Lord Nityananda gave Advaita Ācārya his remnants to situate him on the same platform and make him a pure unalloyed Vaishnava or Paramhansa. Advaita Ācārya's statement indicates that a Paramhans Vaishnava is a transcendently situated. is transcendently situated. A pure Vaishnava is not subject to the rules and regulations of the Smarta Brahmans. This was the reason for Advaita Ācārya stating, Apnar samamore karibar tare. To raise me to your own standard. A pure Vaishnava or a person on the Paramahansa stage accepts the remnants of food, Mahaprasadam, as spiritual. He does not consider it to be material or sense gratificatory. He accepts Mahaprasadam not as ordinary dal and rice, but as spiritual substance. To say nothing of the remnants of food left by the pure Vaishnava, Prasadam is never polluted, even if it is touched by the mouth of a Chandal. Indeed, it retains its spiritual value. Therefore, by eating or touching such Mahaprasadam, a Brahman is not degraded. There is no question of being polluted by touching the remnants of such food. Actually, by eating such Mahaprasadam, one is freed from the contaminations of the material condition. This is the verdict of the Shastra. So by this lila, they have proved that if there is remnants on the plate of a sannyasi, which is considered as Mahaprasadam, because after we have offered the food, the bhoga to the Lord, it is when Lord has accepted it, it is called prasad or Mahaprasad. Prasad at home and Mahaprasad in the temple, if it's done to the temple deities. But if a Vaishnava or a sannyasi, Vaishnava sannyasi accepts it, that those remnants of Mahaprasad, which we have offered to a sannyasi, become Mahaprasad. Verse 99, Nityananda bale ei Krishnera prasad iha ke jhutha kaile tumi kaile aparad. Nityananda Prabhu replied, these are the remnants of food left by Lord Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. Purport. In the Brihad Vishnu Puran, it is stated that one who considers Mahaprasadam to be equal to ordinary rice and the dal certainly commits a great offense. Ordinary edibles are touchable and untouchable, but there are no such dualistic considerations where prasadam is concerned. Prasadam is transcendental and there are no transformations or contaminations, just as there are no contaminations or transformations in the body of Lord Vishnu himself. Thus, even if one is a Brahman, he is certainly to be attacked by leprosy and bereft of all family members. If he makes such dualistic considerations, such an offender goes to hell, never to return. This is the injunction of the Brihad Vishnu Puran. Verse number 100. Shateka sannyasi yadi karaha bhojana tabe ei aparadha haibe khandana. Srila Nityananda Prabhu continued, if you invite at least 100 sannyasis to your home and feed them sumptuously, your offense will be nullified. Verse number 101. Ācārya kahe na kariba sannyasi nimantrana, sannyasi nashila mora sabha smriti dharma. Advaita Ācārya replied, I shall never again invite another sannyasi, for it is a sannyasi who has spoiled all my Brahminical smriti regulations. Verse 102. Eta bali dui jane karaila achmana uttam shayate la iya karaila shayna. After this, Advaita Ācārya made the lords wash their hands and mouths. He then took them to this nice bed and made them lie down to take rest. Verse 103. Lavanga ilaichi bija uttam rasa vasa tulasi manjari sahadila mukhavasa. Mukhavasa is the perfume of the mouth. Sri Advaita Ācārya fed the two lord cloves, which is long as we know in Hindi, and cardamom, which is elaichi mixed with tulsi flowers. Thus there was a good flavor within their mouths. So moving on to verse number 104. Sugandhi chandane lipta kaila kalevara sugandhi pushpa mala ani dila ritaya upara. Sri Advaita Ācārya then smeared the bodies of lords with sandalwood pulp and then placed a very fragrant flower garlands on their chests. Verse number 105. Ācārya karite chahe padas samvahana sankuchit hena prabhu balena vachana. When the Lord lay down on the bed, Advaita Ācārya waited to massage his legs, but the Lord was very hesitant and spoke as follows to Advaita Ācārya, verse 106. Bahut nachaile tumi chhadat nachana, Mukund Haridas la iya karaha bhojana. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, Advaita Ācārya, you have made me dance in various ways. Now give up this practice, go with Mukund and Haridas and accept your lunch. Purport, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu is here telling Advaita Ācārya that it is not befitting for a sannyasi to accept nice beds to lie on or to chew cloves and cardamom and have his body smeared with sandalwood pulp, nor it is befitting for him to accept fragrant garlands and have his legs massaged by a pure Vaishnava. You have already made me dance according to your vow. Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, now please stop. You can go and take your lunch with Mukunda and Haridas. Verse number 107. Tabeta Ācārya sange lena dui jane karila ichhaya bhojan ye achila mane. Thereupon Advaita Ācārya took prasadam with Mukund and Haridas, and they all wholeheartedly ate as much as they desired. Verse 108. Shanti purera loka shuni prabhura agamana dekhite aila loka prabhura charana. When the people of Shantipur heard that Lord Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was staying there, they all immediately came to see his lotus feet. Verse 109. Hari Hari bale loka anandita hena chamatkar paila prabhura saundarya dekhina. Being very pleased, all the people loudly began to shout the holy name of the Lord. Hari Hari, indeed they became struck with wonder upon seeing the beauty of the Lord. Verse 110. Gora deha kanti surya jiniya ujvala aruna vastra kanti tahe kara jhalamala. Jhalamala means glittering, as we say in Hindi, jilmil. Translation: They saw Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, very fair complexioned, and its brighter luster which conquered the brilliance of the sun. Over and above this was the beauty of the saffron garments that glittered upon his body. Verse 111. Aisa yaya loka harshe nahi samadhana lokera sanghate dina haila avasan. People came and went with great pleasure. There was no calculating how many people assembled there before the day was over. Verse 112. Sandhyate Ācārya arambhila sankirtana Ācārya nachena prabhu karena darshana. As soon as it was evening, Advaita Ācārya began the congregational chanting. He even began to dance himself, and the Lord saw the performance. Verse 113. Nityananda Gosani bule Ācārya dharina Haridas pache nache harshita hena. When Advaita Ācārya began to dance, Nityananda Prabhu began dancing behind him. Haridas Thakur, being very pleased, also began dancing behind Nityananda Prabhu. Verse 114. Ki kahiba se sakhi ajuka anand ora chira dine madhava mandire mora. Advaita Ācārya said, my dear friends, what shall I say? Today I have received the highest transcendental pleasure. After many, many days, Lord Krishna is in my house. Purport: This is a song composed by Vidyapati. Sometimes the word Madhav is misunderstood to refer to Madhavendra Puri. Advaita Ācārya was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and consequently some people think he was referring to Madhavendra Puri by using the words Madhava. But actually this is not the fact. The song was composed to commemorate the separation of Krishna from Radharani during Krishna's absence in Mathura. It is thought that this song was sung by Srimati Radharani when Krishna returned. It is technically called Mathura Viraha. Viraha means separation. Verse 115. E pada gauyaya harshe karena nartana sweda kampa pula kashru Hunkar Garjana. Advaita Ācārya led the Sankirtan party, and with great pleasure he sang this verse. There was a manifestation of ecstatic perspiration, shivering, raised hairs, tears in the eyes, and sometimes thundering and bellowing. Verse 116. Phiri phiri kabhu prabhura dharena charana charane dhariya prabhure balena. Balena Vachana. While dancing, Advaita Ācārya would sometimes turn round and catch the lotus feet of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Advaita Ācārya would then speak to him as follows, verse number 117. Aneka dina tumi more bedaila le bhandiya gharete panachi ebe rakhiba bandhiya. Sri Advaita Ācārya would say, many days you accepted me by bluffing, now I have you in my home and I will keep you bound. Verse 118. Eta bali Ācārya anande karina nartana praharake ratri Ācārya kaila sankirtana. So speaking of that, Ācārya performed congregational chanting with great pleasure for 3 hours that night and danced all the time. Verse 119. Premera utkantha prabhura nahi Krishna sanga virahe badila prema jwalar taranga. When Advaita Ācārya danced in this way, Lord Chaitanya felt ecstatic love for Krishna, and because of his separation, the waves and flames of love increased. Verse number 120. Vyakula hena prabhu bhumite padila gosani dekhiya prachut Ācārya nritya sambarila. After being agitated by the axis heel, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu suddenly fell to the ground. Seeing this, Advaita Ācārya stopped dancing. Verse 121. Prabhura antara mukunda jane bhaila mate bhavera sadrisha pada lagila gaite. When Mukunda saw the ecstasy of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he understood the feelings of the Lord and began to sing many stanzas argumenting the force of the Lord's ecstasy. Verse 122. Ācārya uthaila prabhuke karite nartana padashuni prabhura anga nayaya dharana. Advaita Ācārya raised the body of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu to help him dance, but the Lord, after hearing the stanzas sung by Mukunda, could not be held due to his bodily symptoms. Verse 123. Ashru kampa pulaka sweda gadgada vachana kshane uthe kshane pade kshane ka rodana. Tears fell from his eyes and his whole body trembled. His bodily hair stood on the end. He perspired heavily and his words faltered. Sometimes he stood and sometimes he fell and sometimes he cried. Verse number 124. Ha ha prana priya sakhi kina haila more kanu prema vishe mora tanu mana jare. Mukunda sang, my dear intimate friend, what has not happened to me due to the effects of the poison of love for Krishna? My body and mind have been severely afflicted. Purport: when Mukunda saw that Caitanya Mahāprabhu was feeling ecstatic pain and manifesting ecstatic bodily symptoms, all due to the feelings of separation from Krishna, he sang songs about Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna. Advaita Ācārya also stopped dancing. Verse 125. Ratri dine pore mana soyasti napan yahan gele kanu pan taha uri yan. My feeling is like this: my mind burns day and night and I can get no rest. If there were some place I could go to meet Krishna, I would immediately fly there. So we will continue our reading from verse number 126 of the 3rd chapter of the Madhya Lila next time. Thank you all for joining and I wish you all a very blissful day ahead. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.